All right, we are back at it again. Glad to be here, man. Lane, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Ready to get into this beautiful Friday morning.
That's right. That's right. And we're not gonna really waste no time as we kind of typically have. We always got some loaded hot topics. So I hope everybody is again just kind of strapped up and ready. We're gonna talk about something that normally like kills relationships. It's one of those kind of big topics where, whether you're in a relationship or marriage, it's gonna be one of those things you're gonna be tested in. And I'm sure some of you can guess there's only a few that's kind of at the top of the chain, but we talking about the elephant today in the room is
Mm,
finances.
mm.
Finances is that big pink elephant we gonna talk about today.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
It's that time.
It's that paperwork time.
Oh man. So I'm just gonna say this up front before I read some of this research that I pulled. Don't even think of marriage if you struggle over that vow where you say for richer or for poor, because you're gonna be tested in that one way or another.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There's potential job loss. You know what I'm saying? There's economy things, there's kids, there's just all kind of things you can't control in life. So life is gonna throw you a curveball at some point, and if you struggle with that vow of, I'm gonna be with this person for richer or for poorer, you might as well not even get married. I'm just throwing
Yeah.
that out there
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
That don't mean like don't go into it with having, your best foot forward and expecting the best. I'm just telling you, if your mindset is that, you're gonna have a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Because we all
Absolutely.
experience some hardships at some point. All right, so this research says the most significant challenges in relationships and marriages often revolve around communication breakdowns. So we know that's probably number one.
Mm-hmm.
Trust issues and what is that? Financial stress.
Mm.
Financial stress. Other common hurdles include intimacy problems, parenting differences, and unrealistic expectations, which we've kind of talked about some of those in the past. But today we're talking about that financial stress.
Wow.
And, Lane, I'll just throw this question out to you first.
Mm-hmm.
Why is finances so tough, just from your opinion or experience in relationships? Why is it so tough?
Man, unfortunately, everything you do, what you eat, where you lay your head at, how you get to work, what you put your kids on your back, everything revolves around finances.
Mm,
And it ain't really the finances that gets relationships rocky. It's the communication about finances.
mm, gotcha.
Um, that's a big part of it. Communicating, hey, this is what I got. Okay, this is what I got. Let's make it work. I also think, man, just from our community as a whole, there's always been a problem with finances within our community. Starting back from, after slavery, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, us not having the resources and the education to know different things about insurance policies, about savings, checking accounts,
Yeah,
taxes, so on and so on. That has
yeah,
impacted our communities as a whole. So already we're behind the eight ball, but when you throw in things like lack of communication, man, you start putting that dirt on yourself quicker.
yeah,
Things become a little bit harder. Those conversations are tougher to have when there's no communication about things, when there's no open dialogue about paying bills, about number one thing, living within your means.
mm,
When you don't talk about those things, man, it cripples the relationship.
yeah. Wow. And it cripples it quickly too. I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, I mean, that's a huge issue when not communicating about finances, and things are piling up and you
Hmm.
just you just never really deal with it, or you're trying to hide stuff.
Yeah.
I think, like you kind of mentioned, like this goes way back, I'm sure, within our community, just because of, when you, it's like when you finally get something, it's like we're trying to hold on to something or we're trying to protect it. But in a relationship, you're trying to work together. You should
Right.
be working
Right.
together.
Right.
But
Right.
but like we talked about in the past, it's kind of like this competition thing, or it's just
Hmm.
there's trust issues. So I'm not going to tell you everything I got, or I'm not going to I'm not going to release any of my, specific information about my finances. And that's, I mean, that's kind of it's really a recipe just for like disaster
Yeah.
because you can't really survive like that too long in a relationship until you get on the same page, you
Yeah,
know?
man, 100%. Man, how do you get in a relationship? How does this happen? And it's more than just one thing that makes this happen, but how does it get to a point where you are competing with your spouse? I don't care if it's about finances or anything else, but when you start competing with your spouse, man, that's bad. And when it comes to finances, when you're competing with them over finances,
Right.
like you said, it leads to things like not telling everything, keeping some things secret,
Right.
and you don't have that mindset of it's ours. It's not yours or mine. It's ours, belongs to our family, to our household.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I truly believe it comes down to what you said or mentioned about just, well, in a sense, just, I guess, trust,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
kind of just hiding things because you can't really like fully love somebody or trust somebody. Like if you're keeping things like out of the picture, like you're hiding
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
you may think in your mind like you have the right reasons, or you may think that that's right,
Yeah.
but if you're building like a real relationship that you're trying to take to the next level, or you're getting married, like you have to deal with this because taking it into a marriage is a covenant. And if you
Yeah.
guys don't have all the information about one another,
Mm.
that becomes like a trap almost down the
Yeah.
road because
Yeah.
it's just gonna breed like insecurities, or like, man, what is he hiding or what is she hiding? Or why do I know about her accounts or his accounts? And it does kind of leave those doors to do other things if you don't
Yeah.
have that trust, right? So I think it kind of all stems from, like you said, the history. It stems from just the competition between each other, and it really is
Mm-hmm.
like you said, why? Like, why are we competing against someone I'm supposed to be like with for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? Or trying to build to that level. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
I get it when you're dating. I do need to say this for all the single
Yeah.
people out there.
Yeah.
Like when you're dating, like your money is yours. So
Yeah.
like let's just get that straight. Let's put that out there. Like you don't have to be turning over your money to nobody when you're single, right? Right. But when you're looking to go to that next level, these are conversations you need to have before
Yeah.
getting married.
Yeah.
Because if you get married and you're trying to deal with it after the fact, it just becomes that much more hard, to
Yeah.
work through.
Man, I see in my line of work, I see a lot of people who are not financially prepared for unexpected outcomes in life.
Mm,
They happen, rather it's, car breaking down, somebody gets sick, or the unfortunate thing of somebody passing away. I see a lot of times where there's in those rooms, people arguing, fighting over how we're going to bury this person. This early in life, there was no account made, no policy made. Nobody started putting a dollar here, a dollar there toward life insurance. And that's
right.
a big like topic within our community that's not talked about. Life
Right.
insurance. Already enough, you got to deal with the pain and suffering of losing your loved one.
Yep.
Now you don't have the means to bury him. So you got to do, a lot of people do GoFundMe and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and people talk about that now, and it's like, but hey, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, because nobody made any kind of preparation. Nobody talked about it. Nobody
Yeah.
said at a family meeting, hey, let's start putting $2, $3 away per paycheck toward a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
We're thinking about everything else. We're thinking about going on a trip. You're thinking about going to this nice steakhouse or buying
Mm-hmm.
these heels or something, but you're not
Yeah.
thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about unforeseen circumstances that can happen that get people, and it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
Yep.
Everybody on earth is going to happen to you. But are you prepared for it? And a lot of us, that insurance policy in our community, man, that's a ugly word that people do not want to talk.
Yep. Yeah, man. That is an ugly scenario and word. I'm glad you mentioned. And that's one thing, man. I know from my grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't have a lot, but man, they had some wisdom. Like they
Right,
had
right.
it's like they didn't have a lot of money, but they had already prepared for like their own burials and stuff. Like they
Right, right,
invested
right,
into those insurance policies, and they had like three plots. You
right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Grandpa had one, mama had one, she had
Mm,
a couple for her kids. Like, and that's a trip to me, like how we have more access to things. We have
yeah,
more access to get money. Like if we need to hustle and get it, there's
yeah,
ways we can get it legally and stuff now. But back then they didn't have all the options we have, and they still was like planning for those things.
right,
And
right,
like you said, it takes the burden. It took the burden off of like us as grandkids and their children to bury
right,
them.
right.
And it just amazes me like how some people with so little, just because they had the wisdom to do it, really help prepare us as their grandkids, to move forward without that burden. But
Right.
I think about this younger generation today, like you said, they just thinking about now, thinking about, all the superficial stuff, but
Yeah.
not how to protect their like families and legacies.
Yeah, I remember, man, when my grandfather retired, it was a big thing. And
Hmm.
whatever he did on his job, he did it right to where he and my grandmother were able to live comfortably during
Hmm.
his retirement.
Yeah.
So he dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, did everything before he retired to make sure when that day came, he didn't have to, like, oh, let me do another year or anything like that. He was straight, left his
Yeah.
job, and didn't look back.
Mm.
And that's something a lot of people don't think about, especially when you're in your 20s and your 30s. You're not thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, going from job to job instead of trying to build some stability at a job to think about your
Hmm.
retirement. People are
Hmm.
often thinking about, oh man, let me get my bag and everything right now. And we know what that's called, keeping up with the Joneses, so I can have this and have that. And you're
Yep.
not thinking long term. You're thinking right here, and not thinking 10, 15 years down the road, because we all get older. Nobody stays the same age.
Right.
So, why not start thinking about that stuff? I mean, we thinking about it now as we getting older.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
retirement,
Yep.
health benefits when you retire. Like,
Man.
things get a lot more expensive as you get older to take care of yourself. Those little
Yep.
premiums you pay for your insurance, when you
Yep.
become a little older, it becomes more expensive because there needs to be a lot more done to take care of you.
Yep.
And people aren't thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, I know we're going to do a show pretty soon on health and just, just really trying to focus on our bodies and stuff too, because that's part of, thinking ahead. Right.
Yeah.
But I guess back to the topic, like finances is a part of everything. Right. I mean, if you go eat healthy, you still got to,
Man,
still got to budget for that.
man.
So like you said, everything that we do is going to require some form of payment, some form of investment,
Yeah.
some form of like savings. And when we're not on that same page, it just makes it that much harder to like achieve those goals. And like you said, in the long run, you kind of end up paying a lot more, whether it's for
Yeah.
medical insurance or if we're not taking care of our health, that's going to cost more like in the long run. Like if one of us gets ill, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna be paying more for that down the road,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God forbid, we lose somebody. So, but like you said, there is the inevitable things that we definitely need to, kind of plan for. But it really goes back to, why do we compete?
Hmm.
Why do we have such a hard time trusting each other in this particular area and trying to hold on to something, especially after you're married, like
Right. Right.
sharing everything so you can like benefit together.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a weird thing that people do. And when you're competing, you're holding things back. You're not, being honest about, maybe you got a little count, snuck away, or maybe you got a huge amount of debt that you racked up that you haven't spoke about, or whatever it is. I mean, just be open about it.
Yeah.
And hey, if your spouse is the one to say, hey, when the tough get going and he or she leaves, and hey, that ain't the person for you. But, whether you talk about it or not, it's your debt anyway.
Yep.
If your spouse got debt, it's yours too. Or if your spouse got an extra account, that's your extra account too. That's just
Yep.
how marriage works. But the more you communicate, the more these problems can, take care of themselves. But a huge problem I know with people today, and we all get caught up in it, is this keeping up with the Joneses stuff. Well, we know what we're talking about. Excessive spending, living out of your means, looking at them pair of shoes that you want, but you probably can't afford right now. But you go ahead and get them anyway because it's what's hot, or everybody's wearing them, or you saw your friend with them, or you saw them on TV most of the time. You said, "Oh, I want those boots," or something like that. But
Right.
keeping up with the Joneses, a lot of people do it more than what they think, because we're influenced by what we see on TV, on billboards, or you're watching a Laker game, you see a celebrity at courtside and they got something on. You're like, "Oh man, I want that jacket," or I
Yep.
want those shoes. And your
Yep.
paycheck can buy that.
Right.
Or
Right.
before you go buy those shoes, what about your life insurance policies? What about
Right.
your savings account for
Mm.
your child to go to school later?
Right. Man. Yep. Hey
Man,
man.
that's what one thing I tell a lot of new parents. And a lot of people ask me, "Hey man, you have boys and stuff, or you need any advice?" Man, just put a little away for college.
Yeah.
Even if it's something to give them a jump start. Maybe it doesn't pay for the whole tuition, but something where they could just buy maybe a laptop or something to get started with, so they can start the process off easy rather than having to get a job full time to pay for school. Just
Yeah.
make things easy for
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's super critical for us to really have savings,
them. Hmm.
for obviously those type of things. And like you
Right.
mentioned earlier, just for like rainy days, like something's gonna happen with the car at some
Yeah.
point. If
Yeah.
you got a house, something's gonna happen with the house. There's maintenance. Like anything you have, it requires maintenance. So you
Yeah.
can't just, think I'm gonna get a nice car and then it ain't gonna, have issues at some point. It's not
Yeah.
like you're not gonna have to replace tires or the battery, and we know if something go wrong with the engine, I mean, we're talking about
Man.
some thousands,
Yeah. Well,
so
maybe time to get another car. Yeah.
time to get another car. I mean, you got to get to work, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like you always want to just, give yourself when you're doing good, that don't mean spend it all. Like, because there's times that's going to come at some point where you're going to
Hmm.
need it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like you take from the good times, even if it's just a little bit,
Right.
just to put it aside. There's stuff happening all around the house, all the time,
Yeah.
for maintenance. And those are things I would definitely stress is just, don't exhaust everything that you have, because there is something that's coming up, near future or long future, where you're going to
Yeah.
need, I just had to put brakes on my car, right? Well, there's $400 right there. I had to, just a couple days ago, get the AC fixed. I was lucky. That was only $400, but the guy was
Hmm.
like, he said the normal tickets on that is like $2,000. So
Ooh.
it's just, you just never know.
Right.
My
Right.
AC was
Right.
blowing hot.
Oh man.
And so I went to get checked out. He was like, "Man, this is completely empty on Freon." And I was like, "Man, how often am I supposed to check it?" He was like, "Well,
Right.
you just never know. It just happens, And so, but he said you're in a good spot to where it's on the low end, because he says most
Oh
of the
man.
tickets are like a couple grand if like a compressor or
Ooh.
all this other stuff breaks.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm saying. It's cars, houses, whatever it may be, family, right?
Hmm.
There's just things you're gonna need to save for. You just have
Yeah.
something for, right? So, if we can just encourage, anyone, especially in relationships, is just, start talking about these things. Me and my
Yeah.
wife, we've kind of trying to get back to like having monthly type of conversations where we just come to the table. It may
Hmm.
only be like 10 or 15 minutes, but at least we go over like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish this month?
Right.
Here's the bills that we already got, kind of in rotation, but are we trying to do something different, like a bigger kind of outing with the family, or do we need
Yeah.
to, pay for something that needs to get fixed?
Right.
But in the past, man, we had some struggles, bro. We had some
Hmm.
serious like arguments and bouts over finances just because we weren't on the same page. So it's taken a lot to
Man.
kind of just get to where we can talk and just finally just be on the same page. But it's a beautiful thing when you can talk through those things.
Yeah. Man, it is super important be able just to communicate those things that have gone on, because I guarantee you at one point in a year, everybody deals with this.
Hmm.
Everybody knows this date is coming and it's Christmas, and people break their necks. You see them standing out in front of Best Buy or whatever, trying to get that TV, that 80-inch TV for $200.
Right.
People break their neck for Christmas,
Yep.
for one day, and you
Yep.
go over your means, you drain your credit cards, you spend excessively buying stuff you really can't afford, but you put it on the credit card thinking that you don't have to pay that back. And man, the amount of stress that people have during the holidays, this is why they say it's
Ooh.
the saddest time of the year, because people
Mm.
stress and they
Yeah.
feel bad because some of them just say, you know what, I can't afford to buy that. That
Hmm.
may you may feel some way about that as a man or as a woman, where you can't buy your child those $300 shoes that he or she wanted on their Christmas list,
Yeah.
or buying those diamond earrings for your wife that she wanted. You may feel
Mm.
some kind of way about that, but some people just say, hey, forget it, let me do it, I don't want to hear nothing, buy it, and now you're in debt. And that debt don't stop, because after that you got Valentine's Day and then somebody's
Ooh.
birthday.
Ooh.
you know it's
Yeah.
just living out of your means, excessive spending. We've all done it, but
Yep.
at least when you start recognizing it, when you can start really seeing change.
Man. Yeah, Lane, I've been I'm gonna say fortunate just over the last 5 years or so. I've been trying to, just based on my own beliefs and stuff, breaking away from
Mm-hmm.
some, a lot of the holiday stuff. But to each his own on that. But ask yourself this: does Christ really want you going broke
Mm.
over some earrings, over some shoes, over stressing over anything? Like, is
Right,
that
right.
what really it's about? But from the perspective of just um, credit, and how you can, the wealthy people use credit differently than we do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and that's just a fact. They know how to use it to their advantage. And I say that at large, just as a community, we use credit to our disadvantage, because a lot of times we're maxing out, like you said, living above and beyond our means. And
Right,
now we're
right.
like in this cycle where we're trying to keep paying and trying to snatch, how can I manipulate and figure this out each month. But it's almost a never ending cycle, if you
Yeah,
get too deep into it. And we've been there, so I'm speaking
yeah,
from experience.
yeah,
It's a very dark and scary place when you are just drowning, like, in debt.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Man, it's just something, when you're there and you're drowning in debt, it's something that you have to save yourself. And
Mm,
all it doesn't take much. It just takes a little bit of realizing, like, man, what am I doing?
mm,
Like, you ever go through your account and see how many subscriptions you have that you're paying for that come out?
right,
It's like, man, I'm in
right,
school. I was like, man, I'm paying for this. What is this? 1099? Like, man, then I
right,
delete, 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 delete.
right.
Like, starting with just looking at yourself and just going through your finances and realizes, man, I don't need this, I don't need that. And some of this comes with age. As we start getting older, man, you realize, I'm just
Yeah,
happy, like on Father's Day, we ain't got to go to no big restaurant.
right, right.
Man, we could just stay here, cook, watch the game, watch a movie, go to the beach. I
Yeah,
don't need no big shindig, send off on Father's Day. Give me a
right,
bottle. You want to buy me a tie or a hat or a bottle of cologne? Cool. Long as I'm around my family, have some good food, I'm good with that.
right, right.
It's not that same expectation everybody has, though. Some people
Yeah,
want, oh no, I want this, I want that, I want that Fendi wallet. Or you see some men, they start wanting a purse. You see these guys carrying purses around. Next thing you know, that's gonna happen. Like, hold up, you a man, you want a
wow.
purse for Father's Day?
Hey, don't buy me no purse. I don't want no purse or no purse. I'm good with a
I
wallet.
don't care what brand it is, man.
I'm good. I'm good with
I'm
a wallet.
good. I'm good.
I'll
Just
take a
man,
paper clip.
I got an RFD wallet. It's around here somewhere, and it prevent people from scanning, and it's metal.
Yeah,
And
that's all you need.
that's all I need. I got that from Amazon. I think I paid $19.99 for it. And I'm
Hey,
good. I don't need no Rolex wallet or nothing like that. Man, and the rich, the wealthy, they don't spend on stuff like that. You don't see millionaire owners, billionaire owners with diamonds all around them and chains like that. they don't make investments like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the stuff is nice. I get it.
It
You know what I'm
is.
saying?
It
I
is.
remember some rookie NFL player spent his whole signing bonus on this diamond chain.
Mm.
And he's out of the league now.
Yeah.
He's out of the league now. Like that
Yeah.
money you got, like that's like life-changing money, which you may never get again.
Right.
And you buy that chain just because you saw some rapper, the baby or little baby or whatever they call with
Right.
it, man.
Right.
And what he got probably not even real. He's just wearing it for stage presence.
Yep. Or
But
borrowed. Yep.
yeah, they
Yep.
borrow or they loan it for some company that sits there and watches it when they doing the video shoot, and then they
Yep.
take it back.
Yep.
But you went ahead and spent all those millions on that chain, and it's just
Mm.
like,
Mm.
maybe it's not a chain. Maybe it's a pair of, Chanel slippers or Gucci flip flops. We've all done it. I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't done it,
Right.
but sometimes realizing, and this comes with age, like, man, I need to slow down and stop. And I was thinking about that movie we just watched, Straw. And I know you saw it. There was a point in the movie where she just got her check. And she was
Mm.
telling the story how she was across the street at a check cashing place, cashing her check. Now, when you go there, they're
Mm.
taking 4 or 5, whatever. They're taking a percent of your check just for
Huge
you to
percent.
cash
Yep.
your hard-earned money.
Yep.
And this girl didn't even realize, man, if she goes to a bank, direct deposit, I get it that night, draw it out, write a check, whoever I need to pay the bills to.
Yep.
But that kind of knowledge sometimes is not, a lot of people don't have it. But this girl, somebody had to tell her, hey, stop spending your money at this check cashing place. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen those, and they're only in neighborhoods
Good.
where we're from. Yeah, you don't see
Yeah.
them in Beverly Hills or Brentwood.
Yeah.
You don't see check cashing places. They laugh at that, but some people didn't have the knowledge to say, hey, get a checking and savings account.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know there's various reasons why some people just can't get one or don't
Right.
have one, maybe for legal issues or just,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, that's kind of where you want to get to,
Yeah.
because I mean, you're getting robbed by the check cashing people, and they know it, but it is legal for them to do it because
Yeah.
you signing all the fine print, for them to take that high percentage. I had to do that in the past too. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we not knocking nobody. We not trying to make nobody feel bad. We just trying to help people like see things differently, And, you can wait on that big screen. You can
Yeah.
wait on things that don't really matter so you can get things that do matter. And that's like,
Right.
get your identity together, get yourself together first, before buying all these things. Because again, in relationships, finances are one of those topics, man, that
Right.
can just really derail that relationship if the
Right.
communication isn't there.
Man, I was thinking about something you just said. It's expensive to eat healthy.
Mm.
Like, if you want to do the right thing with your body and put the right things into your body, it costs.
Yep.
Maybe it's a gym membership. Maybe you do Pilates or yoga, whatever you do. Maybe you got a bike and you ride or whatever. You buy some weights for your house, and then eating. To eat expensive, it's a lot cheaper to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and fries, than maybe going to having healthier option. Man, it's expensive to eat healthy. I went to the Nutri Shop where I buy my protein from, and we were just like talking like, man, to buy all this stuff, which is good to help maintain your body, it's expensive. Like,
It
you want to
is.
get your protein, maybe you got some for your energy, a fat burner. Not everybody needs that stuff, but to try to do the right thing, to lose weight, to be healthier, it costs.
It
And
does.
people don't think about that. They maybe how you look in your clothes is, not as important. You buying all those expensive clothes, but you can't wear them because you're unhealthy.
Yep.
That's something to think about too. But, if you're going to spend something, if it's something where you just got to spend it regardless on your health, man, that may be a priority. That may be where you're going to keep up with the Joneses with your health rather than buying those Gucci shoes or, that chain that you can't afford.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to be on the same page because, if you think like, okay, I mean, I don't know how much it is now, but I know back in the day, and my wife and I was talking about this recently, but you remember Church's Chicken?
Yeah. They
You
still
can
got them.
Okay, you could get like 20 pieces for like $2.99. It was something
Right, right,
ridiculous,
right, right. I remember
right?
that.
And
Yeah,
you like, okay, we all eat, a whole family could eat for real, for dirt cheap,
yeah,
right? But you cannot eat like that, like every day, and shouldn't be eating like that in general. But I mean, I know we do it, but in some areas that's people's like regular meal. And
right.
so if they trying to feed a whole family versus going to Chipotle and I'm gonna get a $10, $12, $14 bowl, or and that's for one person, or I could feed the whole house of Church's chicken for $10. It is what it is in
It
certain
is what it is.
situations.
Yeah.
But for the long haul, is still like you're gonna pay either upfront or on the back end. But the
Mm.
back end is always harder. It always costs you more. You know what I mean? Versus doing everything up front. If
Yeah.
you're doing it up
Yeah.
front, you're taking care of things, you're taking care of the maintenance of stuff like we talked about.
Yeah.
If you're doing the maintenance up front, then you're kind of keeping things working properly. You're keeping things balanced properly. But if you wait until stuff fall apart, it always costs more. And
Yeah.
that's in anything, your health, your
Yeah.
house, your car. You let
That's
stuff
true.
go, then it's gonna cost even more. And that's gonna
Yeah.
affect other parts of whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Man, to be able to like do the things we do, uh, and I don't care if you got the money or wherever you're at, but like you said, some people just going to go ahead and buy that church's chicken, or now they're buying Popeyes. But
Mm,
man, it sometimes it's better being like you said, planning ahead. Cook your meals. You don't got to eat out every night. How many
yep,
people cook at home now? I know it's hard. It's hard.
yeah,
We have different schedules. I work a night shift. You think, man, on my day off, I want to sit up and cook a whole meal? No. Let's
right.
just order Popeyes. They just put a Popeyes down the street too.
Oh,
I see a long line of people, man, getting them
oh
red beans
man.
and rice. And
Oh man.
Popeyes is expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's
It is
expensive.
expensive.
Yep.
But, it'd be worth your while just going to the grocery store, finding a more healthier option to eat than getting them red beans and rice.
Yep.
I know it's easier and you're tired or your day off, you don't want to do that. It's quicker to go get Popeyes or churches or whatever, but man, to be able to cook that meal, that healthier option for your family, and you're gonna spend less money doing that because you're cooking.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
preparation is what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And you can make Popeyes at home if you wanted to, but people
Yep.
don't think like that. But man, to be able to cook instead of eating out every day, I mean, some people
Yeah.
do Uber Eats and what's
Yep.
the other one? They do that every
Yep.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about they get Uber Eats for like Starbucks coffee. Like, wow, really?
You go pay extra $3 for that too.
Right. By the time you get the coffee, man, it's like lukewarm now. Like, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
man. But the things we spend money on, man, when you think about it, it's like, geez.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's cheaper. Just I mean, and this we know. Being in this society and things are so fast. Work schedules. Everybody's
Yep.
tired. After work.
Yeah.
That's something we all working through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's like we got to get to the point to where, man, we can cook our own foods. Make sure
Yeah.
that we're eating properly because that all this Insta stuff, Uber stuff.
Man.
Man, I was just back home in LA, and I think we ordered Louisiana chicken off Insta or Uber, one of them, and it was just for 5 people. That mess was $100. We looked at everybody, was like, huh? With some fries, couple rolls, little potato salad,
Wow. Wow.
chicken,
That sound about right.
and we just
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. Like
That
it don't
sound
it don't
about right.
it don't make no sense. That's probably like 3 days worth of 3 or 4 days worth of food. You know what I'm saying? If it was cooked at home, just
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and I'm sure half the price at least.
Oof.
So it's just things like that. But when you think about it, and I'm just talking about for most households that may not be on the same page. If one person is stressed out and not communicating like what they need, or
Yeah.
hey, how are we gonna like budget for this week's meals? Even if you do pick up a couple times out the week, right? Are you budgeting just for that? And how are you gonna prepare and fix the other meals?
Right. Right.
Because this is what we have for the week. to spend? Or is it just like we swiping, or
Swiping.
we tapping, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, or just hitting the button, send.
Yep.
Man, I know it's easy to do just to hit that button, but man, that's the whole trap. The more
Man.
convenient it is, we just go keep tapping. You know what I mean?
Fees.
Keep clicking. Yeah, the fees
Yeah.
just roll it in too.
And then everywhere you go now, I don't care. You go to Starbucks, I go to the juice bar in my gym, even at the gym, they want a tip. At NutriShop, I want to buy the protein. Do you want to include a tip?
For
What?
what? For what?
What?
I'm all about tips, bro. I mean,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But
if you give good service, you deserve a tip. But the service should be a service for a tip, not just like I brought something off the shelf and now you expecting a
yeah,
tip.
a
Come on.
tip for everywhere you go where you put your card in, you could put a tip in. I've noticed that now. Like, geez, man. And
I got
people will do it just because they don't want
yeah,
to be that guy, like that
yeah,
guy who don't tip.
yeah,
I
yeah,
get it. I mean, nobody
yeah.
wants to be that, but you
Yeah,
know,
it's pretty
man.
slick though. Hey, it's pretty slick
Yeah.
though. It's almost like you're being shamed into tipping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You gonna be that guy? Come on.
Yeah. And they look at you like,
Yeah,
man, you
they
really
look
want to do
at you.
that?
Hey,
Yeah. What's a dollar gonna hurt you?
right. Or when you go out to some of those places to eat now, and it's like they have the little thing in their hand that they
Oh man.
bring
Yeah,
over
they
to you,
carry it. They
and
carry it to you now. They don't
yeah,
take your card back, man. You
they
got to
want you
look them
doing
in the eye.
yeah, they want you doing all in their face. Go
Right.
ahead, here.
Yeah, this look, you want me to feed my kids? Look me in the eye when you pay for that. Like, man, come on.
Right, right.
They
Like I
get you,
said,
man.
I'm all about tipping for service. We all make a living, but yeah, some of this stuff is getting a little out of hand. And you got to
Man, the,
and here's the thing, you got to budget for that, right? Because it's coming. Like
yeah, it's coming.
you gonna be presented with that. So you got to kind of prepare for that too.
You know certain days out of the year as a man or a woman, you gotta break some bread. Spouse's
Yeah,
birthday,
yeah,
anniversary,
yeah.
depending on what you want to think, Christmas. But
Mm-hmm.
you know one holiday, Mother's Day,
Mm-hmm.
I just told you about that. Like you go to a brunch, come on, man, $100 a head.
Yeah,
And you got everybody here. $100 a head, man. It's expensive, and best for
yeah,
sure they gonna get a tip. Everybody there
yeah,
that's bringing that champagne brunch and refilling your champagne.
yeah,
Everybody getting a tip.
yeah,
Man, it's a knot.
yeah. Yeah, it all adds up, man.
Yeah,
So that's why, like you said, and kind of just back to this elephant of finances,
yep,
everything costs. So, we got to, as I mentioned earlier, singles, that's your money, right? But when you're married, that's y'all money. So, for any marriages out there that may be really struggling in this area, if your finances are separate, you may have your own reasons and stuff
yeah,
like that. I get it. Everybody handles their marriage differently. But when things are separate, or maybe you just don't know, like it's okay to have
mm,
your own savings accounts and
yeah,
things,
yeah,
right? Like this is my allowance that I work out. This is things that I use for my hobbies. Like of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
all that is supported. But if there's accounts that you don't know about, that's a concern. Because what are
Yeah,
you hiding? What do you have to hide? If y'all supposed to be in it till death do you part, I mean, what are
that's
you
the
hiding?
goal. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
goal.
yeah. What are you hiding for? So, because it's gonna come out at some point, and when it comes
Yeah,
out,
it's gonna come to the light. Yeah,
that's gonna be ugly, right? So,
yeah,
again, it's best to deal with things early. Get things in the light, even if you got some baggage, some things that you may think are a little suspect.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's better it come from you than somebody else, the courthouse or whatever.
Mm,
It's best that as a relationship, y'all deal with
yeah.
that in your own privacy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because like you said, somebody gonna force you to deal with it.
Right. At
You
some
know,
point.
rather some point it's gonna come back to you because you two are married, and it's gonna come back to you, and that's just something we don't talk about. And like you said, it starts with communication, and open dialogue and discussing your finances. And, everybody's got these issues. If you make $1 million a year, there's people that got $1 million problems.
Right.
They probably live out of their means. If you make $100,000 a year, there's people that got those kind of problems. Or if you make 30,000, you got your $30,000 a year problems, and being able to budget with that. And everybody has them. It's just like you said, living within your means.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's the same principle. Like you said earlier, it's really not about the amount, because it's the same principle no matter what amount, right? And you just do better if you had, if you growing, you do better if you stick to that principle, of living within your means, because then you always have something, on a rainy day, or make sure your kids and family is taken care of if something come up. So I know this is, like I said,
man.
It's one of those hot topics.
We can go on and on, because everybody got something with this. Everybody has issues with this. Everybody. And it's something you gotta look at yourself in the mirror again and be honest with yourself. And if you say, oh no, not me. Yes, you. Maybe it ain't you spending excessively on something that you don't need every month. I understand ladies got to get their hair and their nails. What does that mean to you? How important is that to you with survival or eating healthy? I think getting your nails done or your hair done, that's, man, you talking about, I don't know, but I hear numbers, what, $100 each?
Well, I can tell you, because my daughter's starting to get hers done. We just talking about basics, right? Just basics, at least 80 to 100. And that's, that's just kind of the basic little whatnots. You may throw a little
dot, tip in there,
a little tip or a little dot of a rhinestone or whatever it's called, a little sparklage, but it adds up quick. And don't throw on some extra stuff. Then you get to, 200, whatever that may be. For something that's going to fall off in 2 weeks.
So $100 plus to get your nails done.
Yeah. Because you ain't even got to the toes yet. I know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a barber can cost, LA is like the barber capital of the world. And depending on where your barber is, if you got a good barber that's in like a nice neighborhood, and then now everything is appointment, you paying.
Yeah.
And don't miss that appointment. You still gonna pay. Yeah.
That's how you pay.
Man, you miss and you don't cancel within that certain time. Man, that's still money still coming out.
Man.
And then you ain't got no fade.
I'm glad I cut my own hair. Like I told you recently, I tried to go to the barber just because I wanted to treat myself.
Yeah.
And it was like a real basic fade, so it wasn't that bad. But I remember our $10 cuts back in the day. Now now they like $40.
At least 40.
And we talk about
at least
a basic cut.
Basic.
Don't go in there looking for no shave. No kits. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some people looking for some kits and some
kits.
Yeah, where you might be missing some stuff up top. You know what I'm saying? Some people might be missing some stuff. So that they throw something on there and
but that's $200-$300 right there. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
That have you looking right, you know what I'm saying? But whew,
yeah.
You go pay for it.
You gonna pay for it, and you got to maintain that. So
and then you got to maintain that. So like you said, keeping up, like, is what's worth it to you, like, and we all have that, right? Like there's certain things we all have, like where, man, I'll sacrifice a meal for this one. I got I want to get this, whatever that may be, right? But at the end of the day, like you just want to be on the same page with your significant other. Don't buy something that's going to impact the household, right? Like you come home with a yacht, you come home with some jet skis and you ain't talked about it. Like, come on now, like, or a new car just pulls up and you like, man, we didn't even talk. Like, how we going to pay this? Well, and then it's going to turn in, well, that's on you. You going to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Paying for it regardless. You paying for it somehow.
Yeah, you go pay for it. And you just don't want your relationship to suffer and struggle when it could have just been like a communication. It could have been like, okay, we both want this. Like, how do we get to that and be able to maintain it?
Yeah, man. We ain't even talked about like pets or stuff like that. Like, I've told you stories like having a pet.
Oh
Pet
man, yeah.
insurance is a scam.
So
They
straight
scam you
pet,
with pet insurance
pet insurance,
because
y'all.
it's
Like,
all reimbursement.
come
You
on.
think you gonna present your little medical pet card up there when he got the sniffles? Nah, you gotta pay,
Ooh,
homie.
we said
You
straight
gotta
pet insurance.
pet insurance, and then all the groomer. Oh
What is this?
man,
What is this coming to? I mean, pets get treated better than humans.
man,
What?
man.
Didn't you have a
Pet.
didn't your dog have a chip tooth or something like recently?
He had something was wrong. We thought something was wrong with his tooth
Yeah.
or his mouth or something, and I took him to the vet, and I
Was that
presented my
prevented?
man. It was like $280, man. $280,
Mm,
and I get that back. I only get part of that back through reimbursement because I gotta meet the deductible.
right,
So I only get part of that back, if anything.
right, right.
But yeah,
Nice.
they look at that insurance card and they laugh. We need that other card, homie.
Oh man, and I get it. That's like part of the family for
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
you gon'
I
spend, man, for them.
I get it. I get it. But don't you agree? You got to be on the same page. You got to be able to talk things through, like
Yeah, yeah,
because
man.
like stuff like that you can't control. Like that just
Nah, it
happens,
just
and
happens.
you got
He
to be
did it
ready.
himself. Yeah,
Right,
he wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't doing nothing crazy. He's in the house. They're house dogs.
right.
And then the food, every man, a big bag of food, man,
Mm.
for two of them.
Straight
And
chili boxes.
one need more grooming than the other. His hair is kind of, it's out
Right,
there, so you got to get it trimmed.
right, right.
And he flopping around with his hair, he get things tangled up. You got to take him to the groomer.
Man,
And get his
yeah,
hair cut more than me. You know what I'm saying?
man. I ain't think I'm ready for that one yet, but
Yeah, well,
my
hey, man,
daughter wants
something to think
one.
about.
Yeah, my
Yeah, you
daughter
got to
wants
think
one.
about that. Man. You got to walk them. You got to
Uh,
train them.
yeah,
I told you how much I spent for a trainer.
yeah. I remember that. Man,
Come on, man. I
you
ain't gonna
ain't
mention the company's name, but man, it was $1,500
ooh.
for a dog trainer. People,
Now, have you ever had a trainer where you spent 1,500 on yourself?
man, I ain't never trained all the sports I put my kids into. Man,
Man,
1,500. I want him on that little ESPN show, walking and he just do what I say and stop. Man, he's off the
man,
chain, man.
man. He better be doing the Dougie dance or something.
Man, nah,
That's
he
crazy.
living good. He living
Yeah,
good.
I can't.
He living good.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Man, thanks for you guys listening to this show today. It's very important. We
Yeah,
got some other hot topics we're going to discuss.
yeah,
Please, we can't emphasize this enough. Please support our show. We need your support. Leave your comments at the end, like and subscribe to our channel.
yeah. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate you all.